Good morning and welcome to another idyllic WSL setting. We have traveled from Trestles to Portugal for stop number 8 of the Women's Championship Tour, the Cascais Women's Pro. I'm Chelsea Cannell. Welcome to Dawn Patrol. We've got another great show for you guys today. Of course, we're going to get to the call and find out whether or not we'll start competition today. We're also going to take a look at the forecast and see what we have on offer for the rest of the waiting period. And then we will have Bianca Buitendag join us on set to talk about her incredible year thus far. And we will also go through the round 1 heats. And I'm going to put the guys on the spot and see who their picks are to take it all here in Cascais. Let's go ahead and welcome in Rosie Hodge and Strider Wasilewski. You two look very rested.
Definitely. I mean, it was a great day to catch up and a beautiful afternoon. I drove through the countryside, went for a surf. It was a nice day.
Where was the invitation, Strider?
I asked you guys that you wanted to go shopping.
He just blew us out there. We did. We went shopping and we got some nice things. You got a nice leather jacket.
I did. I mean, it was a great day. I think, it's so unnatural flying halfway across the world, just that feeling of jet lag. So, I think a lot of people are starting to acclimatize. I think it was great that we had a lay day for the competitors to really, get set.
Well, the top 17 are here, and they've only had a couple of days to get ready, if that. But of course, like any great competitors, they're ready to embrace the challenge and leave it all on the line here. What are they going to need to do to prepare, whether we start competition today or tomorrow? What does that preparation look like when the window is so small?
I think a lot of the times for the ladies, I think on these lay days, it's so crucial just to, get a feel for the banks that they're going to be surfing. A lot of them are down here at the contest area just to get a feel of what's going to happen. But, you want to be surfing the banks, just getting prepared, feeling the water out. They came from California. The water was so warm. And now here in Europe, it's chilled down a little bit. So really, find your feet in the wax and kind of maybe even change your wax because you're going from Cali where it's been warm and now it's kind of cold. So
you definitely come against all the elements of the North Atlantic. You've got so many different swells and wind and different, climatizing and everything that happens to you once you get here. It's definitely a mixed bag. You got to get ready for a month-long trip. You got so many different boards to choose from. I think the most important thing for these women is really getting into a headspace, a comfortable place where they actually feel like they're where they need to be, because going out into a heat, you don't want to feel frazzled and all over the place. And then if they can get centered and focused, that's going to be the most important thing.
Well, that is going to be important, especially if we start competition today. And in order to find out whether or not that is going to happen, we're going to send it down to our very own human encyclopedia of surfing, Dave Stanfield, who is with our commissioner, Jessie Miley-Dyer. Dave?
Boom, Gia. Yes, it is a beautiful day down here. I'm not sure about the surf, though. We're going to find out. First things first, are we surfing today?
Yeah, it's still really, really small down here at Carcavelos. It's such a beautiful, calm day, but there's not really much in the way of waves, so we're not going to be running round one today.
Ideal conditions. Now, let's go back to Huntington and Trestles. It was easy. You had one place to surf. Here, it's mobile. 3 different locations, 3 different waves, and you've got a lot of options. What's the future?
Yeah, we do have the 3 different options here, and each option is really different. Probably the main 2 that we're looking at is Carcavelos and Guincho, and we are going to have to move to Guincho at some stage for this event. The challenge with Guincho, I should say, is that it can be really windy. So we definitely have a lot of swell there, but we need to wait for that wind just to back off a little bit before we can move.
We will be surfing in the near future. Everybody's ready. Back to you, Chelsea.
Thanks so much, Dave. And if you guys can see the shot there behind Jessie, you can see that we just don't have the right conditions yet for competition to get underway, but hopefully looking forward into the week, we will get us a little love from Mother Nature in order to find out whether or not that's going to happen and when it will happen, especially for the various different locations. We've got our very own Strider Wasilewski to walk us through the forecast.
Well, we do have a nice little swell forming out there right now. We've got some, North Atlantic action. We've got a nice low forming. So right now, as we look at it, into Tuesday, Wednesday, you can see that little purple blob, which is going to send swell our way for the weekend. I think basically what we're going to see is Friday, Saturday, Northwest kind of kick up and actually see this thing light up down the beach. The winds are from the north. So, with that, where we're at right now could be the prime location to keep nice, clean conditions and have a nice, peaky, perfect surf out there. The wind plays a huge factor here. We heard Jessie talking about it earlier. As you can see, it kind of ramps through, or it stays even off today, and then as the week progresses, we start to see more and more swell fill in, and we just want to watch the wind because the conditions are the most important important part of this whole thing, because conditions-wise, that's when you get stuck behind the 8 ball. So that's what Jesse's looking at right now, is what the waves look like as far as the height and the size, but also the wind and everything playing into it.
We really want the best conditions for these top 17. And when we get back, we're going to talk to one of those ladies. We've got Bianca Buitendag joining us on site. You're not going to want to miss it. Come back and join us right here on Dawn Patrol. Welcome back to Dawn Patrol. We are really excited this morning because joining us, we've got a lady who has been tearing up events all year long. She's currently ranked number 4th in the world, but she is threatening those top 3 spots each and every event, and definitely in this world title race. Let's give a big welcome to Bianca Buitendag. Thanks so much for joining us, Bianca.
Thank you for having me.
You look fantastic this morning.
Yeah, I was about to say, Bianca, you mentioned as you're stepping onto the desk, we've traveled from California. It's halfway across the world. It's like upside down. We're talking about being prepared for competition. So just tell me from your side, that feeling of coming to Portugal and where you're at the moment.
I think we're all a bit confused. I mean, we jump in here straight after Trestles, and the flight's long. Our flight got delayed, so it was quite a struggle getting here. And I said, like I mentioned, Rose, I slept for 4 hours last night, and the night before wasn't much better. So at the moment I'm a bit confused, and I need sleep for sure. So I'm quite stoked that it's late day today.
You have really been tearing things up all season long, especially in the last few events. You've either been semifinals or finals. We're really noticing it feels very switched on for you with your surfing. What has changed, if you are able to pinpoint anything for us, because we're obviously noticing the difference?
That is a good question. I haven't really put my finger on it exactly, but I have a feeling that it has to do with confidence in your own ability. I mentioned it to Strider, I think, and I said, not worrying about other people's performances and just focusing on what you can improve and you can do, and just not giving up with the small fine tunings, and approaching every event like it's the first and the last. It's very important to block out everything before and everything after and just focus on that moment.
That's a really interesting point.
And we're watching your final berth here at Trestles, and I know that was your 3rd final in a row, and I know you mentioned it in Fiji, but to take, making a final but then to convert that to a win, what do you think it's going to take for you to take home that trophy?
Wow, it's much harder than what I thought, I think. I've made 3 finals now, and I haven't won, so I can't tell you exactly what it takes. But I know, I remember watching Sally in Fiji, and after the Hooter Blue of the final, I was obviously against her, and I could just see all this emotion just coming out. So the build-up of that emotion must definitely be for a reason, for the drive, and I think it takes much more drive and hunger than what I've expected. And yeah, so I think it comes with experience too. Sally's been on tour for 6 years, and someone experienced like that obviously knows what to expect. So I'm hoping just to build up experience, and hopefully one day something happens.
And you know, we talk about Fiji and you had that beautiful final, but it was also so apparent how comfortable you felt in the bigger conditions. You know, at Cloudbreak it really seemed to suit you. So, you know, do you think that those events where you get fired up, it's because, you know, you look at the conditions and you like, well, this is what I love to do. I love to surf. These are the waves that I enjoy.
Definitely, the waves definitely have an influence. You know, you walk down to the beach like in Trestles, you're on the buggy and you have your mom and your team and your coach, and you just in this really healthy environment, and you put your headphones on and you're stretching and you're just thinking to yourself, I love doing this and I'm so lucky to be here, so let's just go for it.
And Bianca, Rosie mentioned it, your comfort level. That's something that's really kind of taken me aback a little bit this year, is just the comfort that you have. And we're wondering what that's attributed to. We obviously noticed that you have a great friendship with Joanne DeFay on tour. You also have your boyfriend Lucas, who's been with you at every event. And you just seem to be so at peace and just very strong. What is that attributed to?
I could say that it's attributed to people, but I would be lying. I feel like God has a hand on my life. He's put people in my life to comfort me, but he's ultimately been my comfort. And yeah, I just wake up and like totally in awe of what he's doing and the position I'm in, and I think that gratefulness towards that gives you a comfort, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And we also mentioned, you know, your Joanne, like being a great friend with Joanne, you have to compete with her at the same time. You made the semi-finals with her in Fiji. You got one over her, but then I think the beautiful thing, the final that you guys shared at the US Open, and just the relationship that you guys have formed traveling in Europe together as juniors, and now on the world stage. You mentioned that you love surfing so much. How much more fun is it when you're surfing against your best friend?
I know, it's like too good to be true. The first time I met Joanne was actually just the country next door, and it was one of the ISA World Juniors. I think we were 13 or 14, so we've definitely walked a long path together through ups and downs. For sure, the QS is a struggle. So yeah, she's seen me at my best and my worst, and she's always just been really consistent and honest towards me. And it's not often that you can get a real friendship like that, especially traveling and having someone in the same time zone as you all the time. And yeah, I just think we free surf together, we push each other, we have a laugh. I think I laugh more with her than I do with anyone else. And we take competition seriously, obviously, but there's a lightheartedness about it too, you know. And I think we both have a really open-minded perspective about a lot of things, so that helps a lot. We don't get too caught up.
We've been talking a lot about your Instagram kind of before you joined us, and how Rosie and I are really impressed with the photos that you take, and we need a little Instagram help. You do a really good job of following the tour and just giving everybody an insight into your journey. Give us some photo help and some Instagram help. You're doing it all right, and we need some tips here.
I need all the help I can get. I'm just going along with it. I don't know. Just be yourself. Be real. There's not much realness and genuineness on social media, so the realer you get, the more refreshing it is. And yeah, fakeness or pretense has never inspired anyone, so just be real.
And also, Bianca, I know that, you know, it's so surf-centric, the way that we live our lives, but you seem to have such a great balance. You're into photography, you've got, you know, your boyfriend with you, you've got good friends that surround you. How do you keep that balance? I know that you're also studying at the moment.
Balance is key. I wouldn't say, I think I'm quite bad at it, actually. I just think not to get too caught up in one thing, because you're missing out on so much more. And I have my boyfriend traveling with me, which brings a whole different aspect of life on tour. I have my mom sometimes coming with, which is the family aspect. I'm studying, which is a bit of an intellectual aspect. So I think the more you broaden your horizon, the more of a chance or inspiration you can get in every field. I don't know, really. I don't know. I'm just trying out different things and seeing what works.
Yeah, that's so amazing just to find, something that you enjoy and that you're passionate about in every aspect. And I think, we're looking at your results at the moment. I mean, you finished 8th in the world in your rookie season, Rookie of the Year. You finished 7th the next year. Finishing in the top 10 is an amazing achievement. Right now, you're sitting 4th. You're really in that top 5, which is massive. Can we see you going for a world title this year? What are your goals?
Oh, wow. I'm actually quite, what's the word? I'm quite surprised I've come this far. First year on tour was just, wow, you're on tour, like all this hard work on the gears is paid off, now what? So I had to kind of find my feet and I had a lot of learning to do the first year, second year included. And this year I feel like I've just found my place to a certain extent. But I'm just taking one day at a time, focusing more on more things than just the heat. And I don't know, it seems to be paying off, I think. I wish I had an answer for you, but I really don't.
The talent and everything is there. I think, you just have to go for it. We're so proud of you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Bianca.
Thanks
and
for
I am
having
so
me.
honored to be sitting here on the desk with 2 women who are really making the South Africans back home very, very proud. Thank you guys so much. After the break, we will come back with more Dawn Patrol. We'll see you there. Welcome back to Dawn Patrol. As we wait for the ocean to send some promise our way, we thought we'd break down the round 1 heats to watch and give you guys some insight into what we have to look forward to. We're also going to talk a little bit about Sally Fitzgibbons and the fact that she feels she's a bit more of a spoiler at this point in the year than a world title contender. For more on that, we're going to send it to the booth with Peter Mell and Gig Selliers.
Well, thank you very much, Chelsea. And Giggsy, always nice to have you here in Lisbon, Portugal. Cascais, one of the oldest cities in the world.
Peter, great privilege to be here, joining in at this exciting stage of the championship tour. Stop 8 now, three numbers left to tick off for the girls, and Carissa putting that yellow jersey on. We've joked off screen about the weight of the jersey, and we'll see how that plays out in Heat 3. She's got a big heat coming up, of course. the Brazilian Silvana Lima, good in the beach breaks as well. Also depends, Pete, where we go with the location.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, if you're going to stay here at Carcavelos, generally the conditions will be smaller, but Carissa Moore wearing that Jeep Leaders jersey, always good for her. She's got that experience there. And then it's Silvana Lima. When those smaller conditions and beach breaks, I think Guincho as well as Carcavelos here will play into her. She could be very much a spoiler. And then you've got Teresa Bonvolat, who is a local girl here from Portugal, who has had some experience last year against Stephanie Gilmore, who ended up being the winner of the event. But so I think she's learned a lot from that.
I think when you're in that mid-teens there, Pete, that 1 year from last year to this year is a huge step as a teenager. So Bonvalo will be coming in with a lot more experience. I think she's ready to roll up her sleeves. I don't think she's going to be intimidated by taking on the world number one.
Yeah, and then you got heat number 4, Courtney Conalog up against Nikki Van Dyke and Pauline Odo, another wild card. Always nice, has lots of experience competing on the championship tour, but here is a wild card, so had nothing to lose. But Courtney Conalog losing that jersey and having to come back from that, she looked really confident wearing it at Lower Trestles at the Swatch Women's Pro, but now coming back into her normal color jersey and chasing.
Well, now is there fire burning? Because does she want that bag? Does she really believe in her heart that it is hers to keep? And that's going to be the exciting part of that heat number 4, Pete.
So Sally Fitzgibbons up against Coco Ho and Sage Erickson. That's heat number 6. Of course, Sally is coming in as number 3, and she has some words in regards to where she sits in that position. Sally, I think, in my opinion, is someone here who's had back-to-back finals in 2014 and 2013, so she knows how to make the finals here, but has yet to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, looking at the spread this year, no podium finish with a win yet, except Fiji. So that's going to be important to see if she can tick off that second win of the year. Of course, Carissa Moore got the 2, Courtney got the 2. Can Sally Fitzgibbons come into the mix here? Pete, we did manage to pick up, as she landed in Portugal, we managed to catch up with her with a media interview. So let's go and hear what Sally has to say.
I think at this point of the season I'm feeling quite free and relaxed. Unfortunately the start of the year I was on the wrong side of a couple of really close calls and that set me back a little, and I'm stoked to be in third, but I guess being that long shot now, I'm just looking to be that bit of a spoiler, I guess, in the race and have that excitement factor to my surfing. I just want to come out and express different things on the wave, and at this point of the season just got to let loose, and you never know what can happen, even with that slight chance I'll give it absolutely everything, but it's I've got quite a bit of freedom now and just have a good crack.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sally Fitzgibbons using that almost as a shield, in my opinion. I think she does have a mathematical chance here. If she were to take a win here at the Cascais Women's Pro, I would say she's right in contention for that world title. When we come back, we'll talk about what we're going to be, who's going to winning this Cascais Women's Pro. So don't go anywhere.
here right now at Carcavelos, and this is the main spot that we're going to have our contest at. As you can see right now, it's kind of a lake. That's why this contest is really mobile. We have 3 different spots to choose from. The second spot is Vafuera, and the third spot is Guincho. There's 2 spots at Guincho. The one I was surfing was the left in the corner of the beach. You pretty much have to paddle out in the middle of the beach because there's always a constant rip current sucking out and pulling sand from the middle of the beach over. It has really fun double ups, and there's opportunity to do really good maneuvers and sometimes even barrels. The way that the rip current pulls, it doubles up, and you can definitely get a good one if the contest is on.
Thanks to Tatiana and GoPro for that epic breakdown. All right. Guys, hot seat time. I want some predictions for who's going to win it all here so that I can basically use it against you when you pick incorrectly.
Well, Chelsea, I guess I'm first up. This is like choosing a favorite child. It's really tough. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say Sally Fitzgibbons, and I'll tell you why. Last year she made the final here. She's probably the most prepared on all 3 of these banks. And, I mean, she's the one in the water when it's not even breaking. So I feel like, that preparation and that hard work's going to pay off for her. Also, we saw in that interview she's looking loose and relaxed. Raspberry, was it?
Whatever your name is.
All right, the Waz is coming in. I just feel like we've seen Carissa. She had a great event. Courtney, I think she wants it too much. Tyler, I think, is going to win this event. I think she's got a nice punchy style, perfect for the beach breaks here. She's relaxed. She looks comfortable. We saw her hanging out around the hotel, and her mindset looks like she's just ready to go. And I like that about her. And, everybody else kind of has something to prove, with Sally kind of saying, oh, she's not in it, but she actually is. Everybody else kind of wanting it really bad with, Courtney and, well, Carissa, she's looking good. She's got the cape, a little pressure. I'm going with Tyler.
There goes Strider cheating off my paper
What about
again.
you, Chels?
I was going to pick Tyler. He wouldn't tell me his pick. He definitely looked at my notes, and I'm upset about it. But we'll discuss that after the show, because that's all we have for you guys here today on Dawn Patrol. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, you can join us again tomorrow at 8 a.m. There will be more fun. Get your coffee. Enjoy your lay day.